The organic black quinoa grain. Quinoa is a version of an ancient grain. Okay. Meanwhile, a present day grain would be wheat in bread and in pasta. What do these two have in common? Absolutely nothing but the fact that they're both a grain. One's ancient, but one has been severely hybridized. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to another episode of The Art Patient. Thank you for tuning in. New subscriber, thank you from my heart. Okay, the new subscriber, go and watch all the other videos. There's so much to be learned, there's so much information there, and like I always say, the information is no good up here, is it? It's got to be given away like summer's day. Today, right, all you who are coming out of hospital, all you who are about to go into hospital, never fear, you've got this channel. It'll give you an alternative, right? This channel is all about an alternative. This is all your alternatives. It's a completely different lifestyle from the one you've probably heard about. But if you're here for health, you're very much welcome. Spread the word, subscribe, and give the videos thumbs up whenever possible, because that's the way it works. I don't make the rules. Today, I'm going to be talking about grains. Now, the British Heart Foundation and the American Heart Association, okay, let me just check that camera there, guys. The American Heart Association encourage heart patients and encourage people in general to eat healthy grains. Now, I don't eat grains. I think they're completely unhealthy for this reason. And I don't say anything flippantly. And as you know, I do lots of research. Okay, so let's get going. Why? You can have an healthy grain in quinoa, and it's not product placement, by the way, guys. I have to buy all my supplements and all my products I have to buy. The wheat, okay, wheat got hybridized. Wheat got hybridized hundreds of years ago, guys. It really got hybridized very early on. This causes major problems when you eat it. Whenever you eat a sandwich, okay, and this is particularly important to diabetics. Whenever you eat a sandwich, you're eating a piece of cake. Your body treats a sandwich like a piece of cake. It absolutely skyrockets your blood sugars, which makes insulin more insensitive. Okay, so you become insensitive to your insulin. You're producing so much insulin, and maybe you cut out all your sugars and you still don't get the results you want because you're still eating bread or pasta. Now, these two have long been associated with, like a lot of things in the food chain, they've been associated with being healthy products, just like yogurt is, and just like the dairy use similar tactics. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to do, by the way. Well, what happened with wheat? The original strain of wheat was einkorn and emmer were the original strains. Now, these were the strains given to us by the Creator, right? And these gave us no problems whatsoever until somebody got greedy, like they always do in the food chain, and wanted to make more money and wanted to increase the protein availability in the gluten. Now, there's a lot of people who have problems with gluten for that reason, It's the gluten, the protein, that gives rise to celiac disease, where you have an autoimmune disease because the body, the white blood cells, start attacking the intestine. Okay, gluten brings that about. Gluten, the actual gluten is a Latin name for glue, which tells you everything. But because of the hybridization of the product and the strains, this is now, instead of it being made from emmer and einkorn strains of wheat, it is made from dwarf wheat, and dwarf wheat brings you all the problems. The biggest problem is, obviously, we've all grown up thinking that bread, and I did for many, many years, that bread is a lovely healthy product, and pasta's a lovely product, and all the other wheat products. And if you walk down the aisle of any supermarket, all those cereals are from the same product seed. So you can see the problem you have here. Okay? Because wheat skyrockets your blood sugars, you start putting visceral fat on, really fat, and it's called a wheat belly. You see this all over the place. I see it around this area in particular because it's of a low income area, and that's where you tend to see people who don't spend a lot of money or are probably not as knowledgeable on their food choices as they should be, and listen to big corporations. Okay? The wheat belly is a major problem because you start, like I say, subcutaneous fat, the fat that you have as a teenager or a baby. Subcutaneous fat can be quite healthy. Visceral fat is very, very different. You see visceral fat in guys who drink because it's related to alcohol and hops, and again back to grains, and you see it in people who are diabetic. Visceral fat. Visceral fat starts to gather around the internal organs and gives you that typical extremely bloated look. Okay. And visceral fat always comes with cytokines and tumor necrosis factor. Now, I know these are, I don't want to go too deep into this because it ends up like a biology lesson, and I never want it to be that. I want it to be completely understandable. But visceral fat, as well as making you, because it's an inflammatory fat, visceral fat makes you insensitive to your own insulin, hence diabetics are full of visceral fat. Have a look at a diabetic. They've all got big bellies, generally. And it makes you insensitive to another chemical, right, called leptin. Now, leptin is a hormone of satiety. Okay, it's secreted by the fat cells to make you full, and it sends a message to the brain that you can now stop eating, right, because you are full. It satiates you, and it's that hormone that also becomes insensitive. So now you have an insensitive insulin reaction, and you're insensitive to leptin as well. Now, the reason it brings you insensitive to leptin is because the actual wheat produces something called, leptin. That's leptin. This protects the plant from fungals and insecticides, and this is what they've hybridized. They hybridized that, so now it has an hybrid effect on you. Because the hormone leptin does not work now. It's had an hybridized effect on you. It's been passed from what you've eaten And what the guy in the laboratory did to it, okay, it's been passed on to your cell. And your cell now does not recognise leptin. So now you're not only on your way to being diabetic, because like I say, this stuff is like cake, okay, it's like wedding cake, and pasta as well. And I'm on about all wheat products here, guys, but probably that was the best example to give you. So now you have a double-edged sword, see, okay. You've been sensitive to insulin because you've been skyrocketing your blood pressure and you've never known it, blood sugar, and you've not known it, okay. And that brings along tumour necrosis factor. Now, tumour necrosis factor is the very thing that starts inflammation with the white blood cells, okay. Tumour necrosis factor inflames, right, and pre-warns the white blood cells to attack, okay. And this is what happens in people with celiac disease. You know, the people who have to know exactly what gluten is in every food to avoid it, because the gluten has set up tumour necrosis factor, which has attacked their intestines, which gives them absolutely terrible pains and a very, very unfortunate dose of diarrhea, to the point where, wow, it done half make them some problems. And then it's become an autoimmune disease due to all those things happening. Now, I hope that's easier to understand for you guys, right? It's certainly, everything's connected. With that said, okay, another growing problem with wheat is the amount of guys who've got man boobs. Visceral fat cells produce large amounts of estrogen, and that's really, you can see that happening, and you can see for yourselves in the male with man boobs, okay. That's another good reason, if you're a guy, to stop eating bread and stop eating pasta. Now, it does seem like a massive ask, doesn't it? But once you get used to it, you'll lose all the bloat, you'll lose all the stomach, and it's one way to stop man boobs, because you're not going to get, contrary to what people say, you're not going to lose your man boobs at the gym. As many pectoral flies you do, and as much bench pressing as you do, and cable crossovers, you will not train man boobs off, providing you are still eating wheat, which is an hybridized product which has no place in your body. Now, going back to celiac disease. Celiac disease on average takes about 10 years to come on, and it can come on at any point. So probably keep that in mind, the fact that you can get celiac disease at any point from eating wheat products. Now, like I said at the start of the video, these are both grains. This one's an ancient one and it's non-hybrid, so it's perfectly lovely grain to use, okay? The wheat strains have all been hybridized, okay? They've all been hybridized. So when you start hybridizing things, things start going wrong within the body. Okay, just food for thought there, guys. Watch out for more videos. Thank you for watching, and give it a thumbs up, and free to answer questions. Thank you.